Sivaya Nama Thiruchitrambalam. Welcome back to our discussion on the 9th Tirumurai, 4th Thirupadigam and the 2nd verse. The verse goes this way. Thiruchitrambalam. etturu viravi ennai ஆண்டவன் ஈண்டு சோதி விட்டிலங்கலங்கள் தில்லை வேந்தனை சேர்ந்திலாத துட்டரை தூர்த்த வார்த்தை தொழும்பரை புழம்பு பேசும் பிட்டரை காண கண்வாய் பேசாது அப்பேகளோடே. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். Beautiful verse which emphasizes on one very important concept, which is don't get distracted with variety of deities that we are able to see around us. Okay, let's take a simple example, an analogy to remember this easily or to understand this concept easily. Imagine after I finish my high school, I decide to take up medicine and I start my medicine education for 1 year. After a year, I change my mind and I go on with engineering. Again, after 1 year, again I change my mind and I go on to accounts. Again, 1 year I'm changing my mind and I'm going on to history, philosophy, whatever it is. End of the day, when I turn back, after 8-9 years, I haven't achieved anything. After my high school, where am I? Nowhere. I'll be lost. Which means if I don't make up my mind on one single path, I would be lost in transit, which is a very, very natural philosophy that we are able to see. Not only that, even if I want to travel from one place to another, imagine I have to travel from Singapore to Kuala Lumpur. Either I can take a flight, or I can take a bus, or I can drive there, or I can take a train. Either ways, I have to make up my minds. If not, what will happen? I will start my journey. I'll go in a car. Halfway through, maybe the moment I cross to us, I'll be like, hey, I think I'll take a train. All the way I have to travel back to Woodlands. Now halfway after I take a train, it's like, no, I think I'll take a flight. Again, I have to travel back to Changi. You imagine, I won't reach my destination on time. I won't be able to even achieve what I wanted to achieve. My objectives will be totally diluted. So I need to always be aligned with what am I going to do and what is the path I'm going to take. This is very, very important. In worldly affairs itself, we are able to see this. So we need to understand where we are heading towards and what is the objective. Now, this understanding is needed while we are going on with the verse number 2, because verse number 2 100% talks about this particular information. Focus on one deity, focus on one omnipotent, omnipresent being. So in this, the second verse goes this way. He says, whenever you are going to surrender yourself to an Almighty, imagine he needs to be a person, or he needs to be a being which has or is part of 8 areas. That is what we call it as Ashtamurtam. So Ashtamurti means Lord Shiva, because he is part of all the 5 elements, all the way from earth, water, fire, air, space. He is also part of sun and moon. He is also part of the soul. So which means those are the 8 areas. We always call it as Ashtamurti. So Ashtamurti is Lord Shiva. We need to surrender ourselves to the Almighty, who is an Ashtamurti, so that he can safeguard us and he will help us in achieving our self-realized state. Who helps us in self-realized state is the Almighty, and he is the only one who can help us in achieving that. That is what verse number 2 talks about over here. So always keep focusing on one single God. Don't get deviated or distracted with multiple deities that we are able to see around us. Is the simple information that the saint is trying to give us as a dikshe in verse number 2. I'll come back again with the next verse very soon. Until then, Sivaya Nama Thiruchitrambalam.